all of us have characters that we occupy. We're not just the same person when we go to school as we are when we go to wherever else isn't school. Hello, my name is Sam Johnson and I am a voice teacher. Today I will be reacting to and analyzing Aurora through the eyes of a child. If you want to sign up for a voice lesson with me, go to my website, vocalease.net.
The world is covered by our trails, and scars we cover up with paint.
So the reverb, I think, is helpful. She's obviously using like a few different vocal colors, registers, head voice, a mix or something. There's something unified between them still. And sometimes when she will go for like sounds lower in her range that sound as if it's the same instrument that she gets if she were to flip it into more of a head voice. And I think that's really cool because it to me shows that you're asking for sounds, not for registers.
Watch them preach in sour lies. I would rather see the world through the eyes of a child.
I love the vibrato. Vibrato is a really good sign that things are going well. If she wasn't able to give vibrato with some of those sounds, it would probably mean that, you know, her voice is a little bit tight, or she's singing in a way that isn't as helpful for her, but she is, obviously.
Through the eyes of a child.
I also like that some of her offsets, the ends of her phrases, are just a little bit more spoken, and some of them have a little bit more shimmer.
Darker times will come and go. Times you need to see her smile.
Yeah, it's interesting. She sounds like she's kind of on the edge of a yodel a lot of time. It doesn't sound as aggressive, I think, because she's good enough at this that she can be quite subtle. It doesn't have to be like slamming between chest voice and head voice. That last line, she started in a very light, what I think a lot of people would call head voice, and then at the bottom it sounded to me like it came back down. And yeah, it's just interesting to hear someone who is like so capable of moving through as smoothly as she obviously is, but also chooses to use those more glitchy sounds every once in a while.
And mother's hands are warm and mild. I would rather feel the world through the skin of a child.
I love how dramatic she is. I think that's an important thing because it proves that there's like a reason to be singing. I think that you have to have a reason to sing in order for anyone to like watch it and be like, this is good, which I think a bunch of people have done for this one. It's been verified by the ether that some people like the way that she's singing and they connect to her. I also like the way that she's singing and I connect to her. When you're singing and it matters, come back to why you need to sing. You need to get something across, right? Like, I have to sing it, and there has to be kind of this conflict or else it's boring. That one sounded even more like, yes, she used the M to find a little bit more connection, more chord closure, whatever, and then she kind of let go into something a little bit lighter. But the M, again, it doesn't sound pressed, it just sounds more pressed than the other one. I've been finding a lot of success recently using hums to find kind of the general placement that you might want to use for singing other things. Like if you can sing it with a hum and it feels pretty easy and you're able to get vibrato, then a lot of times when people get over to singing the word or whatever, the full part instead of the hum, the placement is like really similar to what you can find with that hum. And then that's a very different quality of hum than the one that she did before. but then it crescendos into one that sounds a little bit more like the one that she did before, which is really impressive and kind of difficult to do, but worth imitating. What she just did, worth imitating. Good, that almost turns into like an NG. It's interesting, as she opened her mouth, the tone didn't like drastically change. This could sound like a very different voice than this could sound like by changing it. But she also is able to kind of open her mouth and it sounds like the same instrument, which tells me that her internal structures are quite stable. And it is more important, I think, to find those good vowels inside, like what's the under vowel feel like, so that you can be a little bit more expressive with the front, so that you can do different words. If you had to put the front of your mouth in a very specific position in order to sing a song, that's like inherently going to make it sound like a certain vowel, and it's going to restrict you from doing some other things, right? Everything is a little bit of a compromise, but I find that you're able to get a lot more flexibility if you are able to kind of have your larynx be nice and settled in the back. Everything's nice and open.
When a human strokes your skin, that is when you let them in.
She's really playing with all those nasals, the NG, the the It seems like kind of a comfortable place for her. Yeah, I mean, there's a stylistic element for sure, but I think how frequently she goes back to it is evidence that she's comfortable within that. So if she were a student of mine and she was really struggling with other things, but I heard that she was able to do this kind of thing, I would probably try to bring in that same NGM kind of thing until she kind of was able to teach herself how to sing another song, because sometimes we just rock at singing one song and then like we go sing another thing and the context changes enough that we don't rock at singing the other one. So if you kind of sing one song like it's another song that you sing better, that can be helpful.
Let them in before they go.
So that la was her A4, and she didn't open her mouth very much. It was just la, which I think is why it works so well, because if she went la to la, then it would sound more yelly. How we change our mouth makes it sound yellier or not. That said, what I just said before, right? If you open your mouth in the front and you keep everything internally a little more the same, la, you can get a more even tone, but whenever you change any variable, it's going to change the sound.
I would rather be alive with a childlike soul, with a childlike soul.
She's from somewhere that's not the US. I can't remember where she's from. Norway? The way that we pronounce words makes a big difference for how things sound and how well things work. And I think it's a cheat code to be Irish. And some of the way that she's pronouncing things, to me, sounds kind of like someone who is Irish might pronounce those things. The vowel is what makes it possible to sound the way that she does. If you're really stuck on something, try singing it through some different accents and see which one works best for you. She does a great job whenever she does these crescendos of keeping it in the same place, right? It doesn't sound like it goes... Yeah, that's the first time that she has manipulated things to make it sound just a little bit more yelly. She opens her mouth a little more, she presses into things a little bit more, but it doesn't go all the way to like a proper yell. It just is more yelly. Find the range of what you are capable of doing. That's the most open that I've heard her do. That, yeah, that's kind of what I mean of that more yelly tone. It's not yelly. When listening to a voice, I just want people to sound like they're not totally stuck into having to do it a certain way. I want them to have different ways of doing things, and she's such a flexible singer.
Don't you, please don't leave me here.
Cool. So another thing that is often taught in voice lessons is to try to hold on to the most important part of the word, like whatever vowel sounds the most good for as long as you can. So like here, and then you cut off at the very end, versus what she kind of did, like she started changing the vowel as she's holding it out, and that turns into it functions almost like a crescendo to me. And as long as all of it is beautiful, which it is with her, it doesn't bother me. If someone was doing that all the time and it seemed like they weren't aware of it, then I think it would be good to ask them to maybe hold the vowel for longer and then make the consonant thing that she does at the end faster. But if you sound this sick all the way through, I don't have any problems with that. It actually just makes it sound more interesting because there's movement, there's change. So yeah, a little bit of a vowel crescendo or something functions like a crescendo or functions like vibrato, where it just lets it move. She rocks. She's just such a wonderful singer and very expressive. What do you think she's trying to get across? Why does she have to sing this? Because ultimately, I think that's why it's interesting. Like, everything I just talked about was things that she is doing that might help her sing the way that she's doing. But ultimately, I didn't really talk about why it's enthralling to people. It's not the vocal technique. It's something else. And I'm curious what range of interpretations people have of what she was trying to get across, because my theory is it almost doesn't matter what you're trying to get across as long as you are trying to get across something and you are reacting to like needing to sing. I see this thing and I need to sing because I just need to. When someone sees someone who needs to sing and needs to communicate and is reacting to the world around them rather than like trying to be a certain thing, they will interpret that kind of however they want. And it's interesting how different they could be. Like, I could be singing about puppies and someone could be like, you were singing about my grandma. I think she is a wonderful communicator and she stays so engaged in whatever she is trying to get across the whole way through. And like, maybe it's weird. The name of this channel that I'm watching this on is Warriors and Weirdos. You know, maybe it's weird or unconventional, but it really feels like one important thing she's trying to get across. It doesn't feel scattered when she's moving her eyes around and stuff. That feels like it's for a reason. When she looks in the same place for a little while, it looks like it's for a reason. There's no point where it feels like she breaks out of character. And yes, I do think that pop stars have characters that they occupy, that all of us have characters that we occupy. We're not just the same person when we go to school as we are when we go to wherever else isn't school. I didn't cry, I'm sorry. I saw there's another video over there. I see someone who's crying and it looks like that, and I didn't cry. I'm just not feeling that emotional today, but under the right circumstances, if I was in that building in a different mode that wasn't voice teacher mode, it's possible. But I didn't this time because the character of Sam that I am portraying didn't cry. Nope, it's not gonna come.